Comminos on Jeskai Ascendancy combo. Both players undefeated. They have each picked up a draw on the weekend. Of note, Tim's on 5-card hand here. As we start out, Tim on Expedition map. Now, Tron can be a combo deck of its own. A turn 3 Karn on the play is actually going to be very difficult for Bill to deal with.
Yeah, it's quite good. It forces Bill to cast an Ascendancy and combo off on the same turn because the Karn can just exile it in play.
No land number 2 from Tim. He'll pass back. It was a turn 1 Noble Hierarch for Comminos, and we'll see just how fast his start is. Now, the Jeskai Ascendancy combo deck is a fast combo deck, in case you're wondering the speeds that we're working with here.
I believe there is a theoretical turn 2 when you lead on Noble Hierarch. You can cast turn 2 Ascendancy, Gitaxian Probe, and actually just kill your opponent from there.
It certainly is possible. You see his play there was Sylvan Caryatid. Still no plays from Tim. He kept a speculative mulligan, and we'll see whether or not Bill can combo off here. Now, the way the Jeskai Ascendancy combo deck works is it actually has to get Jeskai Ascendancy combo, the card Jeskai Ascendancy each time. Now, the way Bill gets virtual copies of this, as we see here, is he plays 3 copies of Ascendancy in the main and a 4th copy in the sideboard, and then plays 4 copies of the card Glittering Wish, which is what he's casting right now to get one out of his sideboard.
These wishes that find cards out of your sideboard used to be very commonplace in the format Extended when they were legal. Saw them in Legacy for a while, Burning Wish, but Glittering Wish is the only one legal in Modern.
All right, so still no play from Tim. Last turn, if Bill had a Gitaxian Probe, he could have comboed that turn. Tim is going to pass, and this is almost certain to be a kill on this turn.
Not only is Tim just going to lose to the combo here, but his hand didn't come together at all. No second land to activate Expedition map. Very far from actually playing this game.
All right, so here's the nuts and bolts. So Jeskai Ascendancy, we'll get that one up on screen here. It has 2 effects. The first one is that whenever Bill plays a instant or sorcery, he gets to untap all his creatures, and they get +1, and they also get +1/+1. So these are all mana creatures. So he's going to start out by playing Jeskai Ascendancy off his mana creatures. Now each non-creature spell he has is in effect, it's going to untap both those mana creatures. So it's like all his spells cost 2 mana less. So this Ideas Unbound he's casting is going to untap both his creatures. It's draw 3 and discard 3. He's just going to try to keep playing more and more cards because they're all, more or less free. And as he does this Noble Hierarch is getting +1/+1 each time.
And as you find Fate Stitchers to discard to your Ascendancy, you put them into play, letting you net another mana the next time you cast a spell.
Right, so that's when you play Fate Stitcher. This is a uncommon from Shards of Alara, is unearthed. It has the ability to tap or untap a permanent. So it's like a 3rd mana creature. You see those ones, they're not 1/1 counters, they're the number of times creatures have been pumped with Jeskai Ascendancy.
The really cool thing about Ideas Unbound is this is a delayed trigger to discard. So you discard 3 cards at the end of your turn.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
If you kill your opponent that turn, you're basically casting a 2-mana Ancestral Recall.
Yeah, I mean, Ancestral Visions is just too inefficient, right?
You have to wait 4 turns.
I want the cards right now. This is my kind of magic.
Especially if you're just casting a bunch of spells this turn. You can't wait around for that.
I love cards that make you do something at the end of the turn. Meditate, draw 4, skip your next turn. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm just going to kill them now. One thing that the Ascendancy combo deck can do in this matchup, and of course in this game, there's no creatures they have to worry about. You can tap them with Fate Stitcher. The other thing that Comminos has access to is you can Glittering Wish for Flesh Blood to deal damage equal to one of your giant creatures' power to your opponent.
So one thing that Comminos is doing, wondering why his hand is face up here, he's actually going to play. This deck has a lot of nuts and bolts as it combos off. You see what he's doing, he's making mana each turn because he gets to untap 3 mana creatures. If he plays a 1-mana spell, he actually gets to float. These spells are discounted basically, and he gets to float extra mana that he doesn't use. So he's going to make a lot of mana. His creatures are also going to continue to be pumped every turn. Because this takes a while to do, he's playing it face up so that if his opponent has the option to concede at any time if they want to save, if they want to have enough time to finish the round.
The other part of it, this is just better for the dexterity aspects of untapping a bunch of permanents over and over, referencing your hand. May as well just put it face up. Tim already knows the deck he's playing, and if he doesn't know, this extra information of the hand is not going to help him.
Right, so you see he's burning through spells like Thought Scour, even cards like Visions from Beyond, which is a pretty neat one. It's a draw 3 once you have enough cards in your graveyard.
Yeah, you have to get 20 cards in your graveyard, and then it goes from 1 blue to draw 1 card to draw 3 cards. Another cool one is Cerulean Wisps.
Yeah, this one's great with mana creatures. It's 1 mana, untap target creature, draw a card. Also turns the creature blue, but that part we don't care about as much.
Not super interested in that line of text.
All right, Tim has seen enough. If the attack wasn't already lethal, it was certainly getting there, and game 1 goes over to Bill Comminos.
Yeah, not surprising to see the Ascendancy deck beat Tron. Of course, that was kind of a non-game. The Tron player, Tim, had to mulligan to 5. Kept a 1-lander with map, which is really a very acceptable, even pretty good 5-card hand. If you are able to peel another Tron land, you can map for the 3rd one. You could have a turn 3 Wormcoil Engine, a turn 3 Karn. Things just didn't come together, and of course, it would take some very specific things to even interact with the combo to begin with. So, very unfortunate for Turner here.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and look over the sideboard. We're going to start on the green-red Tron side of things. Without some help, game 2 is going to be a repeat of the first game. What does he have?
So there's not really a lot. Nature's Claim is solid. We can blow up the Ascendancy, so
Great.
that seems very good. The other card that I'm kind of interested in is Platinum Angel. If we can cast that on turn 3. Of course, Comminos, I believe that you can destroy something. What's going on in this Wish sideboard here? We can wish for a Wear Tear and blow that up, so probably not the best ring of Platinum Angel. We're mostly looking at Nature's Claim.
Yeah, there isn't, I mean, because of these using a Wish sideboard, Bill Comminos' deck doesn't really have a sideboard of its own. These are a lot of things that he can get in different situations, but he doesn't really need a sideboard against the Tron deck.
Right. When you look at a Wish sideboard, these are mostly just tools that you can play in any game. You look to the cards that there's 2, 3 copies of and see if any of those actually want to come in. This is not the matchup for Leyline. This is not the matchup for Defense Grid.
Yeah. So he's going to go ahead and get ready for game 2. We'll see whether or not those hate cards can turn it around. Now remember, we are not just playing for a spot in the Players' Championship and for this first place prize and for a spot at the Pro Tour. We're also playing for the right to put your face on a token. That's the prize given away to every invitational winner. Now, back in Las Vegas in December, the winner was Caleb Shear. We talked about that run from 3-3 to, what was it, 19-3, where he won about 15 consecutive matches and ended up choosing to have his likeness on a Storm counter token. Of course, Caleb, known for playing Storm in Legacy, so this is a great one to get your hands on. We're going to have another token as we debut 2 weeks from now in Milwaukee. So we'll see who wins and where we go from there.
Yeah, plenty of tokens left to make. Very exciting element of the prize structure. This is something that I think a lot of the viewers at home are most excited about, these tokens.
Yeah, so if you won, what would your art be on?
I kind of falter back and forth. I want a card that's going to be good in formats that people play beyond a rotating standard. Something that somebody brought up to me earlier was that there's currently no Thopter token with a player on it. With that just being unbanned in Modern, that'd probably be where I go.
Okay. Yeah, a Thopter token?
Yeah.
The blue
Thopter
token.
Thopter. Of course it would be the blue Thopter.
I want to be a Clue token.
Clue token's also really good.
I could draw a card. I like drawing cards.
That's a really good text box. I'd be happy if that was my text box.
Yeah. I like it because it's not a creature, and I'm a fan. I don't want to, I don't really.
I'm more excited about me being on the art of a flying Thopter than a Clue.
All right, we are underway for game number 2. This is Tim Turner versus Bill Comminos. Tron this time keeping a 7. We'll see what Tim can put together. It's a chromatic sphere to start out. What I believe Tim's looking for here is just a fast Karn.
Fast Karn is great if you can get ahead of Bill's ability to cast Ascendancy and do more things on the same turn with that Vindicating ability. That'd be excellent.
Cheeky move here from Bill. He's going to go ahead and shock for a Hallowed Fountain. Could represent a Thought Scour. He believes it's a copy of Wear Tear in hand as well. I don't know if they play enchantments, though.
The other thing about it is you know that the Tron deck's just not going to out-aggro you. You just pay 2
free.
life every time. And this way you make them think about it, even if you're just representing nothing.
Yeah,
make this move a lot against
maybe.
these decks. Yeah.
And you see Turner, he's going to crack his chromatic sphere, cast Ancient Stirrings, and finds Urza's Tower. So he's going to have a turn 3 Tron. And we'll see if he has a payoff card. No play from Bill. His play will be Sylvan Caryatid, and then a pass.
Karn to blow up a land would be huge here. Unable to cast O-Stone and actually activate it.
Yeah, it has a copy of Pyroclasm in hand. Close.
2 Pyroclasms would be fine. 1 not quite enough.
So he uses Urza's Mine to crack a Chromatic Star, then plays and cracks another Chromatic Star.
Pickup was a Nature's Claim, so that's actually a big one.
Yeah, I think he's got to be concerned about just playing out that tower. Now he'll play Chromatic Sphere and a tower. So good heads up play there by Tim. He now has the Nature's Claim up.
Right.
He's got to be concerned he's going to be comboed here.
Definitely. And representing it off of a land that taps on colorless of its own, you might get Comminos to tap into an Ascendancy that he doesn't have to.
All right, 3 mana for Comminos. It is Jeskai Ascendancy. Bill still has priority. He's going to cast Gitaxian Probe. And before that, even untaps. No counter spells up. Tim's going to blow up that Ascendancy combo. So with all the triggers on the stack, cracks for green mana, and going to have that card to blow up the Jeskai Ascendancy.
All right.
I believe in Nature's Claim.
That's step one. We're getting into territory where Tim will be able to cast an Oblivion Stone and leave up the mana to activate it. So that's a very important, good couple of turns for Tim.
So you see Bill, he drew and discarded there off the Jeskai Ascendancy trigger, then drew a card off Gitaxian Probe. And now Serum Visions. He did also have an untap trigger off the Jeskai Ascendancy. It's why that Sylvan Carry added untapped briefly. He'll cast Serum Visions. Looking for another Jeskai Ascendancy and try to go again. While he did this, his discards have been at least one Fate Stitcher. So he has enough. That's another mana creature he can combo off of.
Definitely.
Finally gets to look at Tim's hand. Yeah, they forgot to actually resolve the Gitaxian Probe. So we see Tim has 2 copies of Pyroclasm, an Oblivion Stone, a Ghost Quarter, and a Grove of the Burn Willows.
That Oblivion Stone is huge here. I imagine that the next turn is going to be casting that and just leaving up mana to activate it.
Yeah, he's going to leave up 5 for as long as he can.
That buys a ton of time.
Now, the danger is Tim doesn't actually have a way to win just yet. That double Pyroclasm, I suppose, can kill Sylvan Carry added, but that's about it.
Right, and Comminos already has that Fate Stitcher in the graveyard to just get up and go the turn he wants to combo off.
Right, so this is going to force, then, I believe, Tim to play the Oblivion Stone and hold up 5 to crack it at a moment's notice.
Yeah, I just don't think there's really anything else he can be doing. Certainly not with 2 Pyroclasms in hand. He doesn't have a proactive game plan.
Now, if he plays this Star, he's not going to have the mana to hold up Oblivion Stone.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this
Oh,
line.
actually, I need to apologize. He does not have Tron here. Those are both Urza's Mines.
Well, that's a real big problem.
Okay, that explains this. Yeah. Not having matching art, I suppose it's easy to assume that he has Tron, but he actually doesn't have Tron set up. So he's going to play Oblivion Stone the natural way here.
I gotta say, shame on him for finding black bordered lands that don't match. He only did half his job.
That tower-looking one, right? You'd think it was Urza's Tower, but it's not. It's the mine.
It's messed up. There ought to be a law.
Faking out. Magic viewers everywhere.
Can we get a judge proxy for the feature matches, please?
All right. So go back to Bill's side.
Now things actually look very good for Bill. If he's able to combo off this turn, he'll just win the game.
Well, he's found a copy of Glittering Wish. So between Glittering Wish and the Ascendancy that's in his sideboard, he has an Ascendancy. Now, we still have to see if that's enough mana.
He has the mana to cast it. He needs a free spell to untap it. Specifically, it has to be Gitaxian Probe, right?
Yeah, if he has
I think
Gitaxian
there's a
Probe, he
Noxious
can
Revival in the deck, usually.
Sometimes there's one. He does not appear to be playing
he does not have the Revival.
Yeah, unearths the Fate Stitcher. Fate Stitcher untaps land. He'll play Jeskai Ascendancy, and here's the Gitaxian Probe.
Now, I don't think that the deck is 100% to actually kill from this point, but the odds are very, very good.
Yeah, so each card, spell he plays, is a loot, and it's discounted 2 mana. So the only way he can lose is if he runs out of cards. Now, there's a couple things he can do to stop that. Traditionally, this is where Treasure Cruise would come into play. And with all these cards, we see Cerulean Wisp, Sleight of Hand, Thought Scour, all in hand. He's got a lot of shots at it. Now, there's an interesting one, actually, which I want to point out as he's comboing here in his sideboard. There's an interesting card here. He's playing a card called View from Above. Now, if you don't know that one offhand, that's fine. We're going to get that one up on screen here in a second. This is a proxy here for not being able to Treasure Cruise. So target creature gains flying until end of turn. If you control a white permanent, like Jeskai Ascendancy, return a View from Above to its owner's hand. So if you have 2 mana creatures in play, this card is a 0 mana instant that does nothing and has buyback 0. So it just goes back to your hand, and you can just play it 100 times, and then all your creatures will have flying because it actually does something. And they'll also be infinitely large from Jeskai Ascendancy. See, this is just precious, isn't it?
This is the worst piece of technology I've ever seen.
So he actually says it's very good against Obzon Company, something that gums up the ground a lot.
How many hours do you think he had to spend on Gatherer to find this card for this deck?
He probably just look all instants 2 or less. It's going to take a while.
This is just like the people who found Release the Ants in Legacy.
Yeah. So currently he's still cycling through his cards. So why there are 2 counters on the Fate Stitcher and the first Sylvan Caryatid is that they were played. They have 2 more triggers than the other Fate Stitcher, but all the creatures have many triggers. So that Jeskai Ascendancy, the die on the Ascendancy is how many spells he's cast. The 2 on the Fate Stitcher and the Caryatid are the number of additional spells. So right now the Fate Stitcher has +3/+3, and then those other 2 guys have +5/5.
And Scarscale Ritual puts a -1/-1 counter on the Caryatid, the creature that can't attack, so that's what that black die is.
Yeah, Scarscale Ritual, the reason it's in the deck is it is a multicolored spell that draws 2. So it's something you can Glittering Wish for if you feel like you are running out of gas. So he's getting low on cards here. Bill's actually should be slightly concerned here. Now he does have 2 Jeskai Ascendancies, so he gets to loot very quickly. He's hoping to just get enough cards in his graveyard that these visions from beyond start turning into draw 3s. And I think he's almost there. You see how he has a Visions from Beyond in his hand that he hasn't cast yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what he's waiting on. That's it. That's his treasure cruise, so to speak.
Right. And once he starts going off with Ascendancy, there's nothing that you can wish for out of the board that really helps you go off more. You just wish for cantrips is all it really does.
Yeah, well, that's why we have the Scarscale Ritual. And sometimes wishing for a second Jeskai Ascendancy is reasonable. And you see he gets all the way, and once his creatures get large enough, he wishes for Flesh Blood, which is a card that lets him sacrifice a creature to deal damage equal to its power. Well, his creatures have 20 power here, so he's going to go ahead and Flesh Blood. Well, they didn't have 20, but they were 7 each. So he Flesh Bloods away the Caryatid to deal 7 and attacks with the other 2 guys to make 14, 21 damage. Game 2 and match for Bill Comminos.